Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Queen's Club for the final of our quarter-final matches. We had a bit of an issue earlier in the evening with the internet connectivity here at the Queen's Club, so we won't be able to bring you that earlier match. I can bring you the news that Jamie Douglas is through to his semi-final match. He won 6-love, 6-3, 6-3. But we are back up and running here and looking forward to bringing you the final quarter-final match of this year's British Amateur. The players are just warming up now. So a reminder of what the draw looks like from here on out. We will have the two semi-finals played over the next 2 days, so there'll only be one match per evening tomorrow on Thursday, and again one match on the Friday. And then we will have the doubles final on Saturday afternoon and the singles final on Sunday afternoon. So if you are in the London area and you want to see some fantastic tennis, do come along and check it out. There have been some fantastic matches so far at the British Amateur this year, most notably in the doubles, where we saw in that quarter-final that epic 5-set 4-hour match between Medlow and Truman against Schenkman and Giddins. That's Jamie Giddins. So if you have a spare 4 hours, do go check that out. There's some fantastic doubles to be played there. But first we have this match for you tonight, which features a seasoned player on the amateur circuit taking on one of the players who is trying to break through into that next tranche of players. So let's introduce the players for you now. I'm going to start with Benedict Yortson, age 23, coming out of the Radley School. That's where he played lots of his junior tennis, and still playing a lot there with Nino and Chris and Alex. And he has a bright future ahead of him. Played for the Oxford varsity team in recent years as well. Is now looking to break into those single-figure handicaps. Currently ranked a handicap of 12.1. His career highlights there, not listed on there because it was just an early round, but he did make it through to the first round of the British Open back in 2023, like his most recent British Open, where he played against Rob Schenkman in the first round, and the match which was disrupted by court sweating here at Queen's. Started on the west court and then moved over to the east court after 3 or so games. You can see there he is looking to progress through some of those top amateur events like that MCC All-Comers. And then recent matches for him at Middlesex, playing in that round robin event at the British Under-24s. That was a very brutal event, lots and lots of tennis match play to be A few big upset results there as well. His opponent tonight is Jamie Giddins, currently playing up a handicap of 6.9. He's been in the amateur game for some time now, most recently as the amateur doubles champion. Made the final of this tournament 2 years running, looking to repeat that this year. There's some strong contenders in the field that are looking to get in his way though. And he has recently, earlier in his career, played varsity matches for Cambridge. Form guide for him, you see playing in that all-comers tournament, and then that Paul Rocher trophy most recently against Max Truman down at Seacourt. And finally on the head-to-head, 2 matches played, most recently again at MCC all-comers. Both of them are the way of Jamie Giddins. Your marker tonight is Bryn Sayers, senior professional here at the Queen's Club. So again, the handicap difference between these two players is about 8 points. So you would expect Giddins to be the strong favourite for this match. As we have seen so far this tournament, anything can happen. So Yortson's style tends to be a fairly scrambly one. Doesn't have the big weapons, just tries to get absolutely everything back. And when he gets the opportunity, he will strike. Giddins' game is perhaps a little bit more well-rounded. Doesn't quite try to scramble quite so much, but can kill you with his accuracy. And will throw in a force every now and then as well. with that grill, Yortson gets the first game of the match. Not uncommon for underdogs to take that first game, not quite warmed up as much as you might otherwise be. That's just missed the grill high. As Jamie Giddins finds the dead on there, that is a good example of the kind of points that Yortson likes to play. Long points, scrambling around both sides. Giddins was in control of that rally for most of it, but just couldn't quite find the winner until he got that dead on. Problem is when you come up against players who are that next caliber ahead of you, to find some other type of weapon. So second gallery chase here for Giddins to defend. As that ball has just tipped over the net and into the hazards. And Giddins wins the chase from that. Bit of a leaning back of the head there from Giddins. That ball he really needs to be putting away, not leaving that into the hazards. So Yortson right up the court for the hazard chase of that half WPK, half bubble type serve. He's up covering the galleries, can't quite find the volley. If Jamie had looked over his shoulder, he'd have seen Ben up there and would have found that easy shot down to the back of the court. It's a very weird point to be playing a hazard on. Seeing Yortson bring out that drag a fair bit as well, playing it off the backhand, getting it nice and short. second gallery chase here. And Yortson has called that ball down on himself. It is now 1 game all. See Giddins bring out the drag. Somewhat successfully. Yortson will leave that for another hazard chase. That's a much better serve by Giddins, finding the nick on that railroad. Nick railroad, you very rarely see the top players conceding those nick railroads. Just able to read the length of it, won't take the risk, and will step in and volley. But very hard to do, especially on a court that's not your own. You don't know quite the bounce on the penthouse, just how the ball's going to react. Very hard to judge that volley return on the railroad. So it has a chase here. Again, we're going to see Yortson try this wider demi-PK style on the hazard chase. It's gone very long. As Giddins calls the double bluff. Yortson was up to the galleries, decided it wasn't to be up there. Giddins goes galleries anyway. And that is the first winning gallery of the match, going the way of Ben Yortson. Running up the court there, you've got so much angle on that winning gallery. So 2 chases now. First is hazard a yard, second is worse than 3. That sidewall serve by Yortson just sticking in their nick. Is having to lean all the way down to the ground to play it. Didn't have much height on it at all. So hazard chase, Giddins going with the railroad. Got to keep the whole point nice and tight. Restrict that width on the galleries, and so important to find the timbre on those hazard chases. Anything that misses is an easy shot at the galleries, and Giddins obliges in both cases. Worse than 3 chase now. Losing the chase, so the score is now 40-15. Giddins still opting for that railroad. We'll see how long that lasts through the match. Can be a very tiring serve on the body in a big, long 5-set match. chase of better than 6 there. Yortson just finding that boast, just able to keep the ball up the court, forcing Jamie to have to come and cover more of the front of the court. One of the things with Yortson growing up playing with Chris Ronson is a very big variety and inventiveness of the serve. Giddins really putting the pressure on Yortson there, even though he's at the receiving end. Those defensive shots coming back with interest. Yortson peppering the penthouse many times in that rally. Giddins just wasn't quite able to find that final shot. Did go for the galleries and missed it high as well. Yortson can consider himself unlucky there. And that ball just jamming a little bit too close to that wall. Probably had the time to take a few extra steps and just take it a little bit lower. The shock of it coming off, probably more expecting it to be back bet house. Match so far has been characterized by some very long chases, lots of hazards being laid, deep galleries as well. Normally in the singles matches you'd expect to see Much more of the chasers better in those numbers at least. But Yortson just covering the back of the court so well at the moment. Chases the door. Serves very long again. And Giddins finds the winning gallery for the first time to win that chase. That is exactly the kind of point that Yortson wants to play, those long points, just battling it out. Giddins not able to find the winners that he is looking for just yet. That ball called down, laying a chase of better than 3. Again to those long gallery chases. Not really what you expect to see much of, even at this level, just in the singles game. But Giddins is doing well to prevent most of the balls going onto the back wall. Just neutering that cut that Yortson's putting on the ball. So, better than 3 chase now. All of a sudden, now that he's playing the chase, he does find that perfect line. Just been a little bit... As that one hits the back ledge of the hazards of the winning gallery and goes into hazard second. Still wins the chase though. I think what we're seeing from Giddins at the moment is he's not really putting away the easy balls just at the moment. He's going to fight a lot harder than he'd like. Just overhitting a little. Tending to push the ball back into play rather than doing anything major with it. Just find that target on the force in the last few points. That sneaky one off the tambour. Giddins will not be happy with that. That's a much better line from Jamie Giddins. I've not seen him play that line all that much. It has worked well for him when he has done so. But just a few too many of the shots are going down the middle of the court at the moment. So the chase here is 1 and 2. Yortson tries to play it off the floor. Giddins probably didn't need to go for it. As such, he frames it back. Probably the right shot from Yortson. He doesn't really have that big force that some of the other players have. That one is up into the rafters. Giddins' railroads have been very long tonight. And even hitting that high back wall, sorry, high on the back wall rather, and coming out for potentially hazard chases. That's an unfortunate one that spins back down the back wall. And all of a sudden, Yortson has a chance to get a lead here in this first set. And that is very unfortunate. That's just tipped into the base of the dead on. I think one of the things that Yortson does really well is he never gives up on the ball. Very much like the way that young Ollie Pridmore is playing at the moment. Oh, that's hit gallery ledge. And the swing and hope from Yortson is not going to work out. So can he keep this railroad shorter? It's better. Yortson is intent to just run down anything. Doesn't matter if it's come off the timbre or if it's on the back wall. He's just going to chase it down all day long. And we've not really seen him play too many of the 5-set matches into that deep into that 5th set. Really testing how long those legs can run. Still early in the match, those legs will still be relatively fresh. That style, how long can it last? So the chase now better than second gallery. So again, with these gallery chases, Yortson still serving this demi-PK from way up the court. I think in general, the match is definitely going to Yorston's game plan at the moment. Rallies are much longer than Giddins would like them to be. Yortson again throws his head back in disbelief at that shot. Had plenty of option for that, just couldn't seem to... Well, sorry, it just came back down the back of the wall in a way that wasn't really helpful. Chase now 2 and 3. Once again, Giddins just not reading the length of it, not really needing to play that shot. Just wonder if Giddins might need to try taking the pace off a bit here. Plenty going onto that back wall, easy enough for Yortson to retrieve. And we are back to juice. Yortson was 40 love down in this particular game. Support back well with the serve now, going for a giraffe serve. And the ceiling proving a little bit too low for that one. Picks it up really well. That was barely an inch off the floor. Almost chases that one down as well. Again, going to try a high serve. Oh no. Setting up for a high serve, doesn't go all that high. Tries the behind the back for the trick shot, doesn't work out. He just needed to take a few more steps backwards. And he would have had enough width to play that on his forehand. But he's playing it on the backhand, he's playing across the line of the ball, and that is just a recipe for disaster. So worse than the second gallery chase. Yortson, I think, thought that that one clipped the line. Marco Brince is calling it as a chase off. Giddins has really struggled with that. The third stroke of the rally running across after he serves it into that forehand corner. But quite a few points go that way so far, especially on the short chases, which is not what we normally see from him. It's much better getting into that winning gallery for the second time this match, and we are back to deuce. So do let us know in the live chat where you're watching from. It's always good to hear from you. Always good to hear your thoughts on the game, how it's progressing, who you're supporting. Are you a Cambridge alum supporting Jamie Giddins, or are you an Oxford alum supporting Ben Yortson? So Hazard a yard here. Now he's going for a drag serve on the hazard chase. Giddins just misses the galleries high. Yortson picked up that ball late, reacted to it late, didn't have his racket there ready to volley. Didn't quite think it was going in. Fifth deuce now. A big come on from Yortson. He can be a fairly vocal player at times. He knows just how important this first set is going to be. As the underdog, it's always easier to be ahead as the underdog. If you're behind, then it can always feel like a long, long way back. So better than the door chase. And that is great width there by Ben Yortson. He takes that 5-3 lead. And this serve is long as well. Almost thought he was going to volley that before it came down, but lets it go. Giddins has really struggled on that forehand side so far this match compared to what we'd normally expect to see. Just not able to really dominate that timbre, dominate that grill. Plenty gone high, really from both players, high above the grill. That just floats into the desert, dead on. And that brings up the first set points to Ben Yortson. Who would have thought this? The handicap difference between them, 8 points. You'd normally expect it to be a big game in favour of Giddins, but Yortson has come out well here. He has taken advantage of a opponent that's perhaps lacking a little bit of confidence, especially after his loss in the doubles back on Monday. So, set point, hazard a yard, drag serve. He's up defending that gallery again. Giddins not wise to it. That goes into the grill. Wow. Well read from Ben Yortson. Giddins, again, just needed to take a quick look over his shoulder, see that Yortson was up there. He had plenty of time to choose the other option. And once again, the underdog has taken a set. We saw in the match yesterday between Rob Shankman and Will Flynn, where Will Flynn against the handicap took the first set. Neither player playing particularly their best tennis in that match early on, and then just as the 5 sets rolled through, Shankman was able to bring back the form. So will we see that over the rest of this match? Will we see Giddins finding that talent that's made him a 6 handicapper, or will we continue to see a Yortson upset? Let's chase better than a yard on the hazard side. Yortson just inquiring about the score. This match has been called perfectly so far by Bryn Sayers here of the Queen's Club. So let's have a look at the statistics from that first set. .40 for this set. 4 grills to Ben Yortson. That's been very helpful for him. Equal on the points served, but Giddins not as dominant from that serving end. I think that's probably the standout statistic from that. Really struggling to make an impression along that forehand side. First game of the second set going to Yortson. Heard a bit of talk back to himself from Giddins there. That's something you probably more associate with his brother Rory. Rory is very chatty to himself. That's just out of court, high on the side. Generally, Jamie tends to be just a little bit more cool and calm than his brother in general, but he must be feeling the pressure right now, having dropped the first set of this match. And as we saw in those statistics before, hasn't really found a way to dominate from this serving end yet. So in the chat, Ian Yortson, he says he's an Oxford alum supporting Ben, but there actually might be other reasons why he's supporting Ben. Well, Good to have you with us, Ian. I'm glad that you can join us and enjoy this fantastic match. You must be very happy with how this match has gone so far. I think Yortson, perhaps more than most players, puts that ball into their forehand side, attacking the hazard end from the service end. Uses that shot to great effect normally. There's some fantastic retrieving in that rally. It's just snuck into the dead on right at the end. But Yortson doing really well to keep putting that pressure on Giddins. Things he's generally doing well is covering that boast. The boast that hits around about door and coming across the chase 6. Yortson is up there covering it. Just has that hunger for it, but Giddins just able to string a few dead-ons in a row here now. Just trying to find that target hitting accuracy. I think definitely in the first set there was a lot that was high or wide that Yortson was able to scramble down, but again, still going the railroad here. Find that length on the railroad. The answer still probably no, to be fair. He's gone for a demi PK now. So Giddins able to get that demi PK quite tight those last two. Really forcing Yortson to have to bring his back rackets down quite close to that back wall. But is able to get away with it. So worse than 5 is the chase. Just didn't quite get back from the serve quick enough there. Looks just in the last 5 minutes that Giddins has been able to find his line and length a bit better. Let's see if that continues through the rest of this set. See, I think in that first set, that particular shot from Giddins is on the back wall, and just much easier for Yortson to chase down. So this match has really entered another phase. Giddins now with a 3-1 lead, and questions being put back to Yortson. What are you going to do? How are you going to recover this? And that force is really out of the bag now for Jamie Giddins. Hitting several of them. Just finding that dead on 8 times now. Yortson needs to find a way to stop that force, whether it's from the serve or from the volley. I thought this back on Monday during the doubles, but sometimes on his forehand, Jamie really doesn't look well balanced. Just sometimes it looks like there's just a little bit of still the feet moving when he's trying to play the shot, as opposed to getting set and playing it, which might be just getting the timing not quite right on that forehand still at the moment. Second gallery is the chase. And you see Yortson put Giddins under all sorts of pressure, but just that threat of the timbre really makes that receiving end so difficult. It's called down on Jamie for a chase of a better than 3. And once again we see Giddins really struggling on that forehand side. Just what does he have to do to fix that? Yes, he's under pressure from the shot, but that kind of shot really should be bread and butter at this level. Better than 3 the chase. Serve is a little bit wild. And that is a chase off. Ball just didn't look like it was going to have more pace off the back wall and just kind of hit a bit of a dead spot. Always a risky leaving that. It's probably, if he plays it, it's probably a decent target onto the either the targets of any of the hazard galleries or down into that grill corner. As such, it is now chase last gallery, still advantage to Yortson. This game, you really feel, is so crucial in the context of this match. Giddins had brought himself out to a lead in this set, being that set down already. I think if Yortson can nab this, he's right back in it. We saw just at the end of that run of 3 games, Giddins started to find his range a bit, but Yortson looks to be stopping the bleeding. Doesn't like that serve for the last gallery chase. He's going to go back to the underarm twist. Giddins seemingly intent on playing that to the backhand corner. When he was looking stronger those few games ago was when he was bringing out that force. And that loses the chase 2-3. Yeah, he was forcing a bit more. He had options to force in that rally on the last gallery chase and chose not to. That's a bit better. That's where I think he looks best at the moment. As long as he can keep it off that back penthouse. So we see 3 times in that rally, Giddins going the force. So I think that's what he is intent on doing for the moment. Again, that's where he looked best just about 10 minutes ago. serve coming up very short, almost catching Giddins flat-footed. And that shot going for the grill. Giddins had to volley it. Yortson, he's mixing up his serve, but a lot of his serves are looking threatening at the moment, no matter really where he's serving and what he's serving. He's just able to keep tight on all of them, really. And that's a good cut volley from Giddins there. That's really putting Yortson under pressure on that forehand corner. If you're going to hit to that forehand corner, you really hope to win the point, because if you don't, your opponent has options for the timbre and the grill. That ball called down. It was down. Giddins can't quite believe it. As such, it wins the chase. Oh, that fire him up a bit. That one down as well. Just looks a bit dishevelled there after that call, does Giddins. So we're going to continue to see some serving variety from Yortson. Just let given, because the score was still being read out there. Really some of the first times we've seen Yortson this match failing on that backhand volley. Yortson has not been afraid to attack that winning gallery in this match. No real entries into that hazard second gallery hall of shame yet, but all the shots there have been accurate so far. That ball just stays down. Frustration there from Jamie. And that is a excellent drag serve from Ben Yortson. Just misses that penthouse one last time. There's nothing Jamie can do. He'd lined up for the volley, assuming that there was going to be another bounce to it. Yortson now brings it back to 3-4. 3 game is crucial now. I said earlier in the commentary, I have been very impressed in the way that Yortson attacks that forehand side on the receiving end, the receiver's forehand. You see him go there perhaps more than other players. Giddins' forcing game just seems to have gone away a bit now. Still very keen on attacking that backhand side. Tenth dead on now for Giddins. You just wonder if that defensive volley is something that Yortson needs to start to bring to his game a little bit more. Can have both a scrambling style and a defensive volley, as we see so often from Rob Schenkman. I think part of the problem though is he's also just misjudging it a little bit. Just not quite reading which balls are going in and which ones are out. He often ending up halfway up the court playing for the ball missing low. Whether that's just not playing at Queens enough or just an actual attribute to his style, I'm not sure. Second gallery now. So Giddins gets to that 5-3 lead now. Looking to close out this set and bring it back to 1-1. He brings out what might be just his best serve of the night so far. Really tight on that back wall. Yortson did well to recover that, but the return's not good enough, and eventually Giddins getting the opening on the winning gallery. This one's gone high and long.
Great defense there.
Brings up set points for Jamie Giddins. 2 set points. Starting to look a little bit more comfortable into this match. Oh, he's missed that high. And that's just spun the wrong way. Giddins takes the second set. We are into the third set now. Saw a similar pattern in the first quarterfinal yesterday between Schenkman and Flynn. Flynn took the first set as the underdog, and Schenkman just turned it on from there, winning the next three. Is that what we're going to see here tonight as well? So the players will collect the balls, and we will have a quick look at that second set. 29 minutes to it, and those 8 dead-ons for Jamie Giddins, really finding that forcing game to good effect. Pushing that serves 1 from Yortson back down to 44%. Serves 1 from Giddins up at 67%. Utilising that timbre much, much better. I'm not sure that he's necessarily winning it from the serve, but just putting Yortson under so much more pressure down that receiving end. So the players are just about ready to resume. We will get truly underway now into this third set. So second gallery is the chase. Going back to something I said right at the start of this match. If Yortson is going to play that retrieving style, how does he turn that style into points against a player who is ranked better than him? It's all well and good to be waiting for your opponent's error if your opponent is ranked worse than you, but against a better player you have to be able to bring that final shots from somewhere. Just looks like he's struggling for it a little bit at the moment. There I think is a little bit of that pressure coming out onto Ben now. It was up a set, he's let that lead slip. And that's unfortunate as well. That has bounced into the dead-on. Again, Yortson really not judging the bottom lip of that dead-on well at all tonight. So a bit of frustration there from Yortson. Giddins is definitely looking a bit more composed as this match progresses. Just able to find those targets a little bit better. Less going up onto the penthouse, especially targeting that grill area. Partly because he's dragged it down a little bit, also dragged it right a little bit onto that timber. So a short pause here while Yortson is filling up his water bottle. The taps at the Queen's Club are notoriously slow for dispensing water. So Chase is better than last gallery now. One of the things that definitely Giddins has improved this set is he's put away that railroad. He was serving it very long in the first set. Seeing a lot more of these underarm twists and demi-piqué type serves. Starting to look a little bit like one-way traffic now. Yorson's finding it that much harder to find points. Plays the trick shot. Giddins manages to recover it. And those easier shots now from Yortson, just feeling that pressure still. So just a reminder, we will have plenty more tennis this week for you. From tomorrow it is the semi-final time. We will have one of the semi-finals tomorrow evening and the other semi-final on Friday evening. That all leads into the doubles semi-final on Saturday afternoon and the singles semi-final on Sunday afternoon. Check the Tennis and Rackets Association website for all the details on timings and fixtures. And if you are in the London area and you want to see some good tennis, do come down on the weekend and check it out. So Hazard Chase 1 and 2. Still got very tight on Jamie there. Anything slightly loose and those galleries were wide open. again, lots of great court coverage there from Yortson, but just not able to find that final stroke, that final winning shot. And for the receiver, if you can get that gallery chase, you can consider yourself the moral victor in that rally, even if your opponent is playing better tennis. So last gallery chase now. It's going to go railroad, still going to go railroad, just a few yards further up. It's a much better link than the railroad to what he was serving before. Going to give that deeper railroad again. Still. Seeing a lot more penthouse shots from Yortson now. Just feeling the pressure of having to find points from somewhere. That shot very loose. Giddins not quite getting enough angle on that. The better shot probably would have been onto the timber. He did have a look to see where Yortson was. But not to be. So 2 long chases now. First one is at the door. Again, for these long chases, Yorston's way up the court. That's the risk for being that far up the court on a long chase, if your serve is not tight. Mind you, if that's his railroad. So has it half a yard here, again going this long demi-piqué. Almost the same result. That first ball very nearly in the last gallery, winning the chase. Going over for the wider serve instead. That wide demi-piqué style. And Ben Yortson is on the board in this third set, but still has a long way to go. Mind you, if Yortson can grab this game, it's all of a sudden a lot closer again. Still doesn't quite look like he's got a consistent way to find points. Does Yortson. Still just looks like it's a little bit of waiting for the error to come as opposed to a solid theory of the case. Giddins is definitely looking stronger and stronger as this match goes on. Just a little bit more assured down that backhand. Sorry, down that receiving end. Just reading the timbre so well now. Ball called fault. Didn't hit the penthouse on the way back down again. We're at a very similar point in the second set where Giddins was 3-1 up and we had a long juice game. That's where Yortson threatened to come back into it. Will we see a repeat of that? Yortson brings it back to 2-3. Will that be enough? That one's just tipped over as well. Yortson might feel that Giddins is getting the run of the luck. Yeah. That's a better shot. What will Yortson serve on the hazard chase? We've seen him go for that demi-pico style ball a lot. We will see it again, it seems. Remember, it has to be tight. The galleries are open. Giddins shoots high. That wasn't really pretty tennis on either side. So next chase will be worse than 5. That force coming out for Jamie Giddins there, drawing the error. His forcing has been pretty good over the last 2 sets or so. Estimates, he's probably hitting 2 to 3 on target for everyone that he's missing high. That has just completely looped into the to the grill. There's really not much option that Giddins had there. That last ball, again earlier in that first set, that particular ball Giddins was hitting probably a bit harder, a bit deeper. Not quite getting the cut on it, and really feeding Yortson. Yortson able to run across and cover that before it gets to the back wall. It's just gotten that little bit more accurate as this match has gone on. So 2-yard chase here. Yortson went for this on the floor a few games back. Once again, we see a chase off. Very tight call by the marker, Bryn Sayers from the Queen's Club. That hard hitting now from Giddins also showing at that serving end. Two in a row into the net from Yortson. Hasn't cut volleyed a lot in this match. Preferred to take most things to the back wall. So a 40-love lead here now for Jamie Giddins. Remember, this match is a best-of-5 set format, like all the matches here at the British Amateur. So still plenty of time left in this match. Yortson really not getting back to the back of the court as well as he should from that serve. Too much option for Giddins. Again, if that ball goes over the net, Yortson's way up the court again. It's really the first really loose serve we've seen from Yortson. He has served very well this match, but hasn't quite been enough. That ball not up, called a chase. This looks like the best game for Yortson for quite some time. Manages to get to that 40-love lead as we are going to collect some balls. Just as a reminder, if you are a fan of tennis, there's plenty more coming your way very soon. Do go and check out the USCTA YouTube channel and website for all the information on the upcoming US Open. And that will be coming to you from the Racket Club of Philadelphia. Promises to be some excellent matches over there in Philly. So worse than 3 is the chase. That forehand is looking a lot better from Jamie Giddins now. He was missing those shots a lot more earlier in the match. Just to get that glow from it. Last gallery chase here. Once again, we see that force come out. It's going to be a little bit tougher. And it is indeed too long. So Yortson gets another one on the board, but is it too late? Legs must be starting to be getting tired now. As we start to near that 2-hour mark for this match. Still with at least 1, possibly 2 sets to go. How much does that retrieving style take out of you? Yortson very lucky there. That, I think Jamie middled that ball. He was trying to hit it back in the net. And we have seen a deliberate double fault from Yortson to maintain the serving end as we go into the fourth set. And we'll see a change of shirt here. Yeah, so the deliberate double fault, you see it a bit more in doubles than doing singles, but just not wanting to. Well, he's 40 love down. He knows he's going to concede the set in all probability. Just wants to get that little bit of an advantage at the start of the next set. So Jamie is off to change his shirt. That set lasting 31 minutes. And this particular summary looks very much similar to that of the previous set. Yortson finding it harder and harder to find points from the service end as Giddins ratchets up his forcing accuracy. So at least one set to go, but all the momentum looks to be with Jamie Giddins now, as he looks to tee up a potential final, a semi-final rather, later in the week. So just as we wait for the players to resume in this fourth set rather, reminder of some of the action that is coming your way on the T&RA media channel. We will have coverage in April of the British Ladies Open live from Seacourt, and we'll be up to back here at Queen's Club for the IRTPA Super League. That's around the second weekend of April. Also covering from the Queen's Club will be the British Open Rackets doubles. Still waiting to see a draw for that. There's plenty of time. Get your entries in for that particular tournament. And then lastly, we'll have the Category A's up at Manchester. It's the 0 to 9s tournament, recently moved from Oxford up to Manchester. And finally, coverage of the Ladies World Championship Rackets. What a match that is looking to be. Right, let's go into this fourth set now. Let's see if Yortson can utilise that serve that he bought with that double fault at the end of the previous set. It's bought him at least a grill. It's been pretty hot on the grills tonight. He's not lasted long at the service end, Ben Yortson. His legs are starting to get tired. He's not covering those balls to the corners as he was at the start of the match. That's the thing about that retrieving game. You need the fitness to back it up. That's something that's remarkable about Camden's game in particular. Even as the years rack up, he is able to keep fighting for so long. Keep running and running and running for 4 hours straight. That was the first real main wall force we've seen from Ben Yortson this match. I think we can treat it as a sign of him getting tired. I think normally he will always be looking to play that on the floor. Interesting to see how this fourth set shapes up. Both the second and third, Giddins got off to a pretty rapid start as he now looks to finish this match off. So chase a yard. That ball was not far away from the dead on. I'm not sure Yortson needed to play that first point, but he gets the point. And the first game of the fourth set goes to the man from Radley, Ben Yortson. Yortson's starting to look a little bit more out of ideas here. He's got the first game of the set, but how does he come back from being 2 sets to 1 down? It's always a big, big ask. was a chase worse than 4. Landed around about 5, losing the chase. Second chase here, 3 and 4. Again, Giddins serving that railroad long. He's struggled with that railroad all night, but in the end finds the grill to get him up to 40 love in this game. Again, I think he's been at his best when he's not serving that railroad. Giddins belatedly calling that ball down on himself. Yortson played the shot because he didn't hear any calls from the marker or from his opponent. But better than 2 chase here. So how will Giddins play it? Goes for it on the floor. Yortson recovers well and just clips the timbre. That is very fortunate. Both players very happy to attack the short chases on the floor at the moment. Again, earlier in the match, Yortson is chasing that ball down. I think he's getting a little bit more tired. And that first stroke, when he gets there, he's lifting it up. It's just a little bit of an indication that he's a little bit late to that particular shot. And that one's just floated in the dead on as well. How many times have we seen that tonight? Just gone a bit tentative here. Just does very well. Just routes the wrong way, reaches out, top tip of the racket, just floats into the grill. Giddins is just taking the foot off the accelerator a little bit. Just not quite finding that winning shot as he was through those second and third sets. And Yortson just able to use that timbre a little bit more. And there's that force again from Jamie Giddins. Every time he's looked like he's been struggling a little or been a bit off concentration, he's thrown a few of those forces in there and it seemed to wake him up again. So 2 chases here. First one is better than second gallery. Not going around road this time, doing that underarm twist. Yortson tries the behind the back, doesn't work out. Even if it had gone over, I wager that that would have been going into one of the chases, into one of the galleries that loses the chase. 2 and 3 chase now. Giddins will let that one go. No need to get anywhere near that. Jamie's also got a little bit better at anticipating the somewhat unorthodox positions that Yortson can get himself into as this match has gone on. He started just having a quick check over the shoulder at his opponent when he's had his back turned. And the ball's up on the penthouse. And that's another hazard chase left by Yortson. That won't look good on that average chase statistic. So it might start to become a bit of a chore here for Giddins, as he looks to find the last 4 games that he needs in this match. He's been here before, played plenty of these amateur tournaments. So hazard chase, again on that demi-PK. Trusting it's tight. But Jamie Giddins finds chase the line. There is absolutely nothing Yortson can do there. Chase now worse than 2. And that's just lost it. Fell around about 3. So we're going to see that drag once again. That drag has generally been a productive serve all night. That third shot, the first shot that Yortson played wasn't quite good enough, wasn't quite precise enough. You'll see as he approaches that next level of his game, that volley will need to start to become more and more controlled. Making sure that those third shots in the valley are still putting your opponent under pressure, which he hasn't quite done towards the latter stages of this particular match. Giddins' railroad has looked better when he's taken that step further up the court. The ones that he serves from about 2, 2 and 3 tend to be hit just that little bit harder, come onto the back wall a little bit more. Giddins can probably consider himself lucky he didn't concede a chase on that. He was well out of position, had to hit grill and didn't. Just checking his racket. That sounded like a string might have gone, but it looks to be okay for the moment. It didn't sound particularly healthy. And Yortson once again very much committing to one side of the court, leaving the other side wide open. Giddins is now wise to that. Let's see if we see some double bluffs from Yortson in that respect soon. Very good from Giddins, just pushing Yortson into the corners now, knowing that he is tired. His legs just aren't quite working as well as they were back in that first set. That definitely sounds like a string broken. No, it's the whole racket that's gone. So that will be tossed and turned into firewood. Wonder if that's a particularly new racket or if it is well used. If it's relatively new, that will be sent back to Grays. Just when he snapped that racket, I thought I saw a splinter going off onto the court that might need to be picked up at some time soon. Not sure if we can quite pick that up on camera, but you don't want a ball hitting a bit of wood splinter on the court and taking a funny bounce. Another between the legs from Yortson. Yortson's still giving this a bit of a fight. He's brought it back to 3-all. He's not going to roll over easily, like we saw in the earlier quarterfinal between Sheckman and Flynn. To his credit, he is fighting it very hard. It still looks like Giddins has the run of play for the moment. Target hitting from Giddins continues. Yet another grill chalked up onto the tally. That is a crucial point in a crucial game. 4-3 now to Giddins. And that's a fantastic line from Jamie, just hitting in front of the timbre. So hard to judge and read, really got Ben out of position. I think one thing we've definitely seen in this match is that Yortson is not that far away from being able to challenge these guys. He's played really well. There hasn't been a set where he's rolled over easily. He has fought for every point this match. But ultimately, it's looking like it might not be enough. Just as the players tidy up the balls. A quick reminder that there will be coverage of the first semi-final tomorrow, right here on the T&RA YouTube channel. That match will be Rob Shankman versus the winner of this match. That's currently scheduled for 6:45 tomorrow evening. So worse than 3 is the chase. Oh, that is an amazing get by Ben Yortson. Does really well just to stay in that one. Eventually finds that grill. Chase the door now. And once again, Yortson tries to cover those galleries, but Giddins is definitely wise to it now. That might be the sound of that finishing line coming up very soon now for Jamie Giddins. One game away from a semi-final place against Rob Shankman. Seen plenty of those tonight from Jamie, really targeting that force. That one a bit of a slower one, but still effective. excellent drag serve. That did not come more than a racket head width away from the wall. And that's the frustration there now for Ben Yortson. Excellent serve, but at this level you need to be able to follow it up all the way through the valley. So 2 chasers now. Is that all that Giddins needs to wrap up this match and book that semi-final position against Rob Shankman tomorrow evening? So first chase is better than 2. And that loses the chase, brings up the first match point, Jamie Giddins. And that is an ace just to finish it. The match goes the way of Jamie Giddins. What a battle between these two. I'm sure we'll see Ben Yortson back at this tournament plenty of times over the years to come. But congratulations to our winner, Jamie Giddins. He books his place in the semi-final and a match-up with his doubles partner for this event, Rob Shankman. One last look at the match statistics. 2 hours and 14 minutes for that match.
Thanks, Brent.
And plenty of dead-ons going either way. Lots of target hitting throughout that match, and in the end, Jamie Giddins just getting the better of the serving end after really struggling at that end in the first set. So from all of us here at the Queen's Club, thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you again for the semi-finals tomorrow and on Friday. Goodbye.